Welcome back, finally, after much ado, to Season 2 of Easy Dispel, where the name's Easy Dispel, and we did it wrong anyway. I'm your Game Master, Andrew, and joining me tonight, finally, our wonderful cast, beginning with...
Hi, I'm Will, and I'm going to play a PC that you'll meet later.
Hi, I'm David, and I will also be playing a PC you'll meet later.
Exactly.
It's on that time delay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Did you guys get that desync? How that happens
Yeah.
sometimes?
Yeah.
Your voice is deeper all of a sudden.
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah,
You still have, you're just rolling with my introduction of you? This
Well,
is
yeah.
the chaos you can
worked.
come to expect from Easy Dispel.
Love it.
Well,
Right.
I'm Mike, and I'll also be playing a character that you'll learn about later.
Hi, I'm Lucy, and I will also be playing a character later.
Not right now, though.
I'm Rachel, and I'll be doing the same as everybody else, but with a different character.
Got to hold on to a little bit of the mystery. Where you have
Yep.
introducing their new characters.
I think you just switched your mic.
perfect.
Man, it
Yeah,
has
Just what
been
we
We
needed.
knew this is what it was going to happen.
Issues
right? It was bound to happen.
immediately.
tech issues.
Episode
Go
0,
on.
you're going to have tech issues.
2 hours of sound check, and we still have this.
Say something.
Everything
Andrew?
was perfect up until the stream started.
No, yeah, that's the way it goes.
Say something, Andrew.
All right,
Nope.
surprise, Lucy. You're now our new DM.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Well,
So how's everybody doing? I hope that you guys have been great since campaign 1 and the last one shot we did for Alice in Wonderland. Still nothing, Andrew.
definitely. So I guess real quick, couple of shout outs. Thank you to Rep RPG for letting us shamelessly plug ourselves again and again and again. Also, please go to all of our socials, give us a like, comment, follow, interact with us, because we have been gone for so long and we need the attention, just like your crazy ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. So yeah, that being said,
Still
he is
nothing,
still
Andrew.
not back. So
If you need
I'm
to
going to
leave,
keep
you can leave and come
going
back.
with this great monologue that I have, that I am very quickly, running out of things to say, and I'm definitely not stalling at the moment.
We should probably introduce Lucy a little bit, our new friend.
I am a new
Lucy,
friend.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. I am
Thank you.
excited to be here. I don't have really a whole lot to talk about myself with, but this is my second campaign, and I am really excited to play with this talented bunch of D&Ders.
Talented is a loose term, but
Yeah.
At least we don't have technical difficulties. Anything.
Hey!
Anything?
Yeah.
There
I'm
we
back.
go. Hey,
There we
we're
go.
back.
We have been doing an hour of technical tests, and of course, as soon as we start, I lose all audio and microphone. What have we talked about? Have we shouted out our wonderful friends at Rep RPG?
We have.
We
yeah.
have.
Okay, we've talked about our socials. I think I caught a little bit of that. We've introduced Lucy. I'm all shaken up now. What else do we got?
think
Sorry,
that's
did we
it.
mention that
I think the next thing we
Chaos
do
Pixie Magic over at Rep RPG is the one that designed our logo?
We have not.
The
is didn't, but she
There
is
you go.
beautiful
awesome.
new logo that we've had. It's already gotten a shout out over on their Discord. It looks beautiful. Go give her your money and have her design logos for you. She also designed a personal logo for me for like my gaming Twitch, which has been since discontinued. But I still love the logo. It's beautiful. Yeah. What else did we have? Again, I'm all thrown off. Or are we
I
ready
think
to
that's
begin?
about it. It's about time
Yeah,
to
I think
introduce
that's
it.
it. Let's get into this.
And we can dive into Easy Dispel Campaign 2, The City of Avarice.
Let's go.
What?
The last known city of the mortal races, after only 200 years ago, a party of heroes rising up against the gods, failing, and punishment being set down upon the world for the hubris of the mortals for defying their deities, their creators. One god, the only allowed god of worship now in the city, Crest, the god of magic and progress, turned against his brethren and helped the mages of this time erect a sanctum, a spire amidst a city etched with arcane wards that would protect the residents within from the devastations that swept the lands. Over time, the few years that this devastation swept across the world, all types of people came from each corner of the world to make this city their home. It grew and became this sprawling megacity of magic, of progress, technology, all working together under the god of progress's watchful eye. This concentration of magic has led to some people suffused with the ambient magic of the area, developing what is called a voice. Just innate magical talents that allow them to technically, on a technical gameplay wise, cast up to a first level spell a number of times per day equal to the proficiency bonus. Representative of this. There are those, some of our players in fact, that are voiceless, without this natural affinity to the magics, that are somewhat second class. No one is going to be persecuted for their for a lack of magic, but very similar to modern day, if you don't have the right degree, might be a little bit more difficult to get a job. And if you don't have a college education, very equivalent there in the status quo of the city. Not all of the surviving races have decided to call Avarice their home. Amidst the waste surrounding the city, there are nomadic tribes that travel along sand skimmers, salvaging what they can from the ruins of this lost civilization. It is on a pair of these nomads, aboard a sand skimmer laden with goods, traveling towards the city. Will and Rachel, with the two of you. Will, we'll start with you. You introduce yourself first. We'll kind of go in order. Like to introduce your characters.
So riding atop this sand skimmer, you see a red-skinned tiefling, about 6'7". He's a large boy, tall, muscular but very lanky, almost Bill Skarsgård, the gentleman who played Pennywise. Very tall, lanky, and a wide, inviting smile that almost comes across as creepy or off-putting, but still inviting. He has black hair that whips back in the wind. Who wore it better? You decide. And long gray horns that swoop back as his hair does across the top of his skull and back behind him. He has red and orange irises in his eyes and cat-like pupils, very reminiscent of like magma. He's wearing harem-style pants, because I don't know what else to call them, Jesus sandals, a linen V-cut shirt, and vest and bracers that are made of studded leather. The other thing you notice about him that anybody would notice is any exposed skin would appear from his neck to his ankles is covered in tattoos, and they're a very eclectic. They're all black ink and a very eclectic sort of items. He's got a wide eye across one pectoral. On the back of his shoulder, he's got an upturned top hat that has doves and cards shooting out of it. Over a rib cage, he's got a mural of the sun that happens to be burning mortals below it that are all immolating, and just all sorts of eclectic stuff all over his body. And you see him at the helm of this sand skimmer, hair whipping in the wind.
And on the back end of the Sam skimmer, watching the horizon as they leave for anybody following or, looking out for danger. There is dressed in whites and beiges, very sandy type colors, a tall, incredibly muscular, like almost Amazonian woman with enormous muscles. She's 6'4", with silvery white hair and cat-like golden eyes that almost glow but don't. Like, they're not unnatural, they're just on the edge of that unnatural glow. Her skin is tanned and kind of the color of the desert as well, with almost like a crystalline shimmer or glitter to her skin. She has a large great axe strapped to one side, and she has a flail held in the other hand as she holds on to this skimmer, just watching for anybody who may come at him.
The two of you. No, we're good. I just muted my microphone.
Scared me for a sec.
Aboard your sand skimmer, going through these massive kind of gray-brown dunes that have just choked the land. The first thing of Avarice that you see is the very top of a massive spire. What you know is central in the city, the Spire of Avarice. And as you crest the dune, the highest tier of Avarice comes into view, like 1,000 feet up, massive, just stretching into the sky. Where it's the only thing visible to you, you've still got probably an hour or so left of travel before you'll even come within view of the walls. Continuing through as the second tier finally comes into view. And finally, the tops of the walls, these massive walls that encircle the city. The two of you know your way through the wastes and how to best kind of avoid danger, especially on these well-traveled scavenger paths. How to avoid the waste whites and greater dangers that can be found. I believe you have a contact within the city that you've been told who to reach and how to get in touch with them. Don't want to direct you guys too much. Is that kind of your intent on this point, to make your way in?
Like wasting any time.
Okay. I think if you wanted to fuck off in the desert, that's a whole new campaign that I'm running.
We turn around and go home.
But yeah, that's. I want to make sure. I got to make sure that the option is there.
Yeah.
The last few hours of your travel go by. It's probably late afternoon, early evening when you when you finally make it to the gate that you were directed by Starkeeper Yoden. The last few merchants for the day kind of passing through, the guards inspecting their wares as you approach. A guard approaches a member of the Vigilant Watch, and right, more nomads, eh? You bringing scavenge?
Got a few goods in the back that we can scavenge, yeah, but we're here on personal business.
What kind of business would that be?
Family related.
Just to be clear, I think I'd sent you something specific for you. How to get for dealing with the guards, an arrangement that your clan has with the guards of the city. Is the letter I sent you.
Sent us a letter.
Does not sound familiar to me.
I sent it to Will specifically because it was from Starkeeper Yoden to Doman.
I'm gonna apologize, but I don't have that letter.
Boop, boop. I think we had just. I think it was just sent on. There. I just sent it to you again. Just to skip through a little. You have a letter, and it. Starkeeper Yod had said if you let the guard know you have a delivery for Lord Farron, feel free to inspect my wares. Is the phrase you have.
I will recite that.
It helps if we do our homework.
This was sent a while back. I don't blame anybody for missing that. The guard. Right, Lord Farron. Brief inspection then, and he walks to the back right corner of this scan skimmer cart, pulls back a fold of cloth that is covering the goods you have, and he pulls out a small box, tucks it into his own satchel, nods, and goes, right, you lot can go on through, cart's clear, and he bangs his spear on the ground, and you see a shimmer in the gateway in front of you as the barrier is temporarily lowered, and you are ushered into the city. Past the walls, bright arcane sigils cover almost every inch of space, some with advertisements. There are some crystalline screens up with different businesses, some with newsreels playing. Just very busy and immediately louder than anything you're used to on the ways.
Talking to Ange, he did say it's Sparrow was the name of his contact, I think. And I assume we know where to find Sparrow?
You have loose directions. If you'd like to make your way directly there, if either of you would like to give a survival check.
He did say he was in the common ward, and I think that's maybe this way? For a 17 total.
17 total. Yeah, so you are correct. It is in the common wards towards the slum. Through the city, you can follow the wall most of the way there and then cut in just before you reach the slums. You begin making your way. A couple advertisements for arcane cleaning wares, self-scrubbing pots constantly are berating you from all sides. Probably a half hour's journey or so.
This is just so much. I don't understand how people live here.
It's noisy, but I mean, look at all the people. There's always someone to talk to, always someone to do. Something to do. Not someone to do.
Yes, watch your tongue.
The houses around you begin showing less and less of the arcane markings and writings, a little less advertising. Everything's starting to show a little bit more wear, less well maintained from those main city streets when you first enter. You kind of know to turn at this point, making your way into what almost seems like an alley after these large open streets filled with people. The figures here, less merchants, less well-dressed, certainly not well-traveled, watch you from alleys and shaded doorways as you make your way on the directions you were given to Sparrows.
Angela's gonna make sure that it's very obvious that she has some serious weaponry on her.
Okay. Making your way through, and you turn down one alley. I don't need perception checks. Okay, I realize I have your passive perceptions right here. But you two are perceptive.
Yeah, great.
You make your way down an alley, and you're sure it's only one or two more turns till you make it to the Sparrows Nest. And a figure kind of steps out, and almost mirroring Angel's posture, showing the curved sword at his side. Right. You two look new in town. There's just a small fee for passing my alley. 10 gold pieces, if you'd be so kind.
Do those gold pieces come from your fingers?
They go
Because
into my
I will
fingers.
take them.
That doesn't.
He's saying no, friend. Could I have your name?
Name's not important. I don't think you're familiar with the Lost Sons, are you?
Can't say I am. Who are they?
We're a group you don't want to cross. And as attached as I am to my fingers, I'm a little bit more attached to your gold. And he pulls his curved sword out. And Angel, from the back, looking over at him, you hear from behind you another sword being drawn. And you turn and see a second figure stepping from the back of the alley where you'd come in, or one on each side. I'm going to need you to hold on as we switch over to Sai. If you'd like to introduce your character.
Yeah, so Sai is a Harengon with an attitude that would make you think he's 6 foot tall, but he's actually only 4 feet tall. And he's got black fur from top to bottom with a little bit of sky blue highlight throughout the fur, mainly in his face, right around the cheek area. And then it just kind of runs down and has stripes off the front belly. He's wearing, again, as Domin explained, more Jesus-y sandals, the little, nice flip-flop type stuff. Has bandages around his fists up to about mid-wrist, and then also down around his ankles. His feet are nice and wrapped, just to, make sure there's a little extra padding when he needs to put somebody in their place. He's kind of quiet, when he's being introduced to somebody, but outside of that, he has some trouble knowing when to shut up. A little cocky and enjoys jumping from wall to wall or tree to tree.
Sai, you have just left your childhood home, making your way to a contact that has worked with your order in the past, helping individuals such as yourself find their way in the city. You're walking down the steps, those same advertisements and newsreels kind of just playing all around you. In recent news, another individual has been gone missing from the Central District. A known artificer celebrated for her works with the Upper Spires, thought to be moving from Terrace to Messos soon enough for all of her contributions to the Great Church of Crest. News that you've heard, people missing. People, the only thing catching your ear about this one is it wasn't someone you knew, someone that lives in the slums, someone that in the dirt of Avarice. The fact that it was somebody from the Central District, the core district. That's the only reason the news gave it any attention anyway. You know the way to Sparrows. Is there anything you wanted to do before making your way that direction?
Just kind of walk around and see if I can see any anybody causing trouble, any beggars out there, somebody that kind of fits my mold.
Make a perception check for me.
That would be 21.
Nothing more than the usual kind of to expect. That's maybe even less so. There's not any muggings in your immediate vicinity, anything kind of going on. The area around, what is the name of your order again? I have it noted somewhere.
Oh, god damn it, where did it go?
or your home.
I gotta find it. Oh my god, where did it go?
Nice to know that none of us do our homework.
That's all.
I-
That's,
I do.
we're brushing the rust off. We're brushing the rust off.
I wrote it down somewhere.
I'm looking to see if I can. I'm sure I have it written down as well. So let's see.
Nope, I don't have it. I thought I wrote it down.
It's silent.
We will figure that out. I don't want to make anything up off the top of my head,
Yeah.
but the area around your home is pretty well respected for a place within the slums. People don't get into a whole lot of trouble. Are you traveling by ground or rooftop?
Let's go rooftop since I'm leaving for the first time. I'll try to stay out of everybody's way.
Okay. Making your way towards Sparrows. Again, kind of early evening, late afternoon. Sun's starting to dip a little low. As you kind of get near to Sparrows with your 21 perception, I believe, you hear a woman's voice saying something about someone keeping their fingers, some other garbled words, and then the clear tone of ringing steel.
I'm gonna sneak up to the nearest roof and just kind of keep an eye on it. And the moment I see anybody approach what appears to be like anybody approaching somebody that they're gonna attack, then I'll make a move.
Rounding at the top of the corner and looking down over, you see a large sand skimmer hovering about a foot off of the ground, the arcane sigils and gems studding the bottom, kind of creating the underglow, that kind of dark purple. Aboard it, a tiefling male and a Azmar female. And two humans, each with blades drawn at each end of the alley, blocking them in their cart so it wouldn't be able to leave. Doman and Angel, I need you two to roll initiative for me.
Yes. First initiative.
Sai, as soon as you would like to join in the fray, you are welcome to join initiative as well.
Also, first nat 1 of the campaign.
Starting out strong.
First roll, or not the first roll. We've had 2 perception checks.
14 for me, though.
14.
You can write mine
With
down
your
as a 23,
bonus,
but I will hold on the first round.
So that was 14 for Doman, 23 for Sai. Angel, what was yours? It was a 1 plus
2. So 3 is total.
Total of 3. Besides, you would normally go first, but nobody has made a move yet. One of these humans, the one at the back of the cart, is kind of, now that things are kicking off, runs up and is going to try to grab Angel out of the back of the cart. He's going to attempt to grapple you. If you want to roll an athletics check, this is an opposed check.
Okay. $12. Where are my dice? I am not doing this game again.
You got a dirty 20. Doman, you kind of look over your shoulder as Angela is just grabbed off of the back of the cart and pulled back. He does not attack, but he does just pull you out of the back of the cart and is currently grappling you.
Does this count as her being hit by an attacker that I can see within 30 feet?
No, he did not attack. He just grappled. So it is your turn, though.
I will have, just having looked over my shoulder and seeing her grabbed off the back of the cart, I will look back at the guy at the front and be like, "Oh, don't piss her off, laddie," and then cast invisibility on myself, and I will move. I will attempt to get him and his friend in a straight line from me. So basically, circle around him.
Okay. Yeah, probably easy enough. Angel will be in that line as well between the two of them. Right. Know some tricks then. He is going to.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I should say, just for flair, as he casts invisibility, there's no like hand movement or anything like that, but you do see that eye that was on his chest, or you see the part of it that sticks out from his vest light up with like a white fire, and the black ink actually emits flame for a second, and then it's all sucked back into his body, and everything goes invisible.
Nope. Oh, he knows some tricks, and he turns around and just listening and like some of the dust moving underneath your feet. He is going to try to make an attack at you at disadvantage where you're invisible. Yeah. So there are 2 attacks. Does a 12 hit?
Does not.
And I'm guessing a 9 doesn't hit either then. So
It won't, no.
2 swings, 2 misses, and Angel, it is your turn.
Yes. Okay. So, Angel, first thing she is going to do is cast Compel Duel on the dude that was staring at Doman, not the one that's in front of her.
Okay.
Which... Sorry, I'm new. Well, I'm not new. I'm just new to this character. On a failed save, they have to make a wisdom save of 14 or higher.
He does succeed on the save. That was a natural 16 on the die.
Damn, and it don't
Plus
matter.
0.
Okay. And then as her attack, she had her hand on her flail, is gonna pull it out, whip it around, and try and smash the dude in front of her with her
Okay,
flail.
roll the hit.
My dice, my good dice, was... Hold on, where's my hit? Plus 3, so that's a 16.
16 hits.
Okay. And then... That's 4 damage. Oh my gosh, I forgot what it's like to play
Level 3?
a character. Yeah, a character that's
Level
not
3. Level 3.
Oh. I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
this is great. Tink.
And you said that was the flail?
Yes.
You whip that around, still kind of grappled by him. He's kind of got you around the shoulders, and you just crack it over your shoulder into his back. He kind of gasps, but does not let go. Anything else you're doing with your turn?
I don't think I can do anything more than an action and a bonus action, right? Yeah. Nope. No.
Thanks
Nothing
to
else.
Sai. See combat erupts in the alley below you.
Yeah, seeing the attackers make their move. Which side am I on? Am I closer to where Doman was, or more by Angel?
Which side would you prefer to be on?
I was thinking I was more on the Angel side.
Then you are more on the Angel side.
Okay. So seeing that attack and her get grappled, I'm going to jump off the roof and come down with my quarterstaff and try to hit the guy attacking her.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack. This will be an advantage.
So that would be... Oh, I rolled the wrong damn thing. 13.
13 hits.
Oh, okay. And that's 1d6 for 6 damage.
Damage. Quarterstaff cracks into him.
And then
he is still holding on to her, but you kind of like drive him down to one knee and kind of half pulls Angel with him.
And then I'm gonna bonus action flurry of blows.
Right. These ones will not be at advantage. Just
Right.
that first attack.
Oh, that's gonna miss. That's a 8.
8 misses.
And flurry of blows is 2 attacks, right? Yeah, 2 are unarmed.
Yeah. Good.
Oh my god, that's another miss. So I guess I'm coming in after hitting and just trying to swing and missing.
You got that surprise attack, but you make contact, but he's able to kind of move out of the way and shrug off the blows. Moving to his turn, he does actually drop the grapple and is going to make an attack at each of you. One at Sai, one at Angel. That is a 13 to hit Sai.
Miss.
And a dirty 20 to hit Angel.
Hits.
He's rolling really good against you.
Yeah.
And can I interrupt?
Oh, yes.
As he hits Angel, you see behind the first guy, right where Domon's eyes would be, that same white fire just flares up and sucks back in. And Angel's ring lights up with that same fire and emits from her ring, hits the guy in the chest, and shoves him back 10 feet. He also takes 2 psychic damage.
2 psychic damage. And does that stop him from completing the attack? Is it when he deals damage or?
It says when the wearer of your talisman is hit by an attacker.
So he does still deal the damage. That was 7 points of slashing damage. As it connects, that kind of fire erupting from your ring throws him back. He takes 2 points of damage. And we move to Domon's turn. He kind of comes skidding back 10 feet away, trying to hold his balance.
I got a little roughed up. Domon's still invisible and not wanting to give too much away, will actually just take a dagger off of his side, sneak up behind the guy who I assume is not looking at him anymore, and just like try and give him a couple of jabs in like the liver in the lower back.
Steppy step.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attacks at advantage. You do lose invisibility when you make an attack, but
That will only be actually 1 attack, but so that is an 11 plus 5 is 16.
That hits.
Yeah. And 6 points of damage. That's pretty good for level 3.
Yeah, not bad, especially for a dagger.
Yeah.
You drive the dagger into his side and just like holding him like by the shoulder with the knife in him as your invisibility fades, and he just kind of looks back over his shoulder at you. It is as you
and that's it.
Let go and step back. It is his turn. He is going to turn and make 2 attacks at you.
Okay.
It is a natural 19 to hit and a 2. So
that one doesn't
going to miss. For 8 points of slashing damage with that heavy curved sword. Yeah, I rolled a 6 against. He's rolling hot on damage. I rolled a 6 against you and then a 5 against Angel. Speaking of Angel, it is your turn. The one in front of you is looking pretty beat up. And the one in front of Doman, who's now visible, is clutching his side with one hand after having just made 2 attacks.
I am going to first point at our friend and say, "Guess the other one, I have this handled." And then run at our friend and try and swing my flail at him again.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Sorry, but before I do that, I am going to cast Searing Smite on my flail, and so you see it kind of start to emit this gold shimmer, almost like there's like glowing sand coming off of it. And then roll to hit. That's going to be an 11. Or no, sorry, no. That was, I rolled damage. I'm an idiot. I was like, he hit.
Roll the hit and let's see.
Okay. 17 plus.
Yeah, that absolutely hits. And 11 points of damage, you said?
No, because I added my hit, so it's 8 plus 1, so it's 9.
9 points of damage.
I can math, I promise.
flail crashes into his stomach, and he fucking God's blood.
And then
And
since
falls to one knee and just collapses onto his face, bleeding into the dirt.
All right, I was gonna say since it hit, my Searing Smite also kicks in. So
All right,
as
you
it
roll
hits,
damage on that too. You're gonna go overkill.
yeah, I want to, as Angel do. So that's gonna be a 4 additional fire damage. So as it hits, you see this like glowing bright white flames smash into his chest.
Yeah,
crushes
same
ribs.
thing. Just crushes in, burns. Fucking God's blood. Falls to the ground, and just his clothes kind of letting off a little bit of smoke from the burning. Anything else you're doing?
I'm essentially just going to turn around and get as close to where the other guy is as possible.
Right. You can almost entirely close the distance. Sai.
Sai's gonna look over, see all that happen, and go, all right, I guess you do got it. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and take off over to the other guy, and come in with my quarterstaff two-handed, like a baseball bat swing.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack.
And that will be a 20, 30.
Hits.
Okay. And that will be 10 points of damage.
Right, 10 points of damage. Clubs in, you actually hear like a crack as your quarterstaff thuds into his thigh, and it bends a little bit just in a wrong way. Not fully broken, but definitely not in a good spot. Oops, I accidentally healed for 10.
Wait,
so.
the quarterstaff?
No, his leg.
The leg, thank you.
And anything else you're doing?
Yeah, and then seeing that he's still up, I'm going to follow through with my quarterstaff and shove it into the ground and jump up in the air and use my foot to kick him in the face.
Okay.
Yeah.
And roll that attack.
And that would be an 18.
15 hits.
And that'll be another 6 points of damage.
All right. We're going to use this as a reaction. Drops his sword as you just kick him, and he stumbles back, and he drops the sword, holding a hand to his face and a hand to his side where he was stabbed, and he's not going to do anything. He has dropped his weapon, and it is Doman's turn. Unless you had anything else you're doing, Sai.
Nope, that was it.
Okay.
And he's not doing anything at all? Grabbing his nose, grabbing his side?
Yeah, he's like he's dropped his weapons. He's like holding his face, like trying to clear blood from his eyes from that last hit.
And Andrew's on the other side of me, clearing the distance in between the two of us, right?
Just booking it towards you, yeah.
I'll just pick him up by like the back of his collar and like lean into his ear and say, I told you pissed her off, you manky git, and just like put my foot in like right in his tailbone and just push him towards her.
Okay. He, for his turn, is going to try to run. He is going to choose whether to run the direction you pushed him towards Angel, or try to cut back between the two of you. So they both seem like bad ideas at this point, but he stumbles forward, like looks up, holding his face, sees Angel just booking it, and he just takes a step back, is going to pivot and run. You will both get an attack of opportunity if you choose to take it, because he has to get past you both in this small alleyway. I will tell you this, he has 1 hit point.
Can I swing with the butt of a dagger instead of the front of it?
Yeah,
like
you can
try and
attempt it.
come
Yeah,
at his nose
you can
again.
try to do non-lethal damage if you'd like.
Yeah, like to. For a 19 plus, the butt of the dagger is +5.
Yeah, that will hit. You just, as he like turns, and as soon as he turns around to face you, you just expecting it, pommel the dagger just right between his eyes, and you just watch the eyes roll back, and just falls back on the ground, bonelessly just thuds.
You pissed me off too, and I'll spit in his face.
And the three of you are left in the alley.
I'll clean off like the blood off the blade of my dagger and be putting it away. Well, thanks for your help there, little one. Little man?
Yeah,
Little man. Yeah.
Good thing I was here, it looks like. Came in to, had to take care of you. You guys new here?
I'll look at him. I'll look at Ange. I'll look at him. I'll look at Ange. Yeah, thanks for saving us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, just helping out.
Yeah, we are new here. Yeah.
I'm just glad you did
Dominique.
not get hurt.
And I'll extend my hand out towards him.
I'll reach out, shake my hand. Sai, nice to meet you.
Angel.
Where are you guys headed?
Yeah, where are we headed?
To the Sparrows Nest, Hostel, Pawn, and General Services LLC, where David is currently in a workshop. David, if you'd like to describe your character, please.
Yeah.
As we leave these fellows in the alley discussing where to go.
Okay. He is a warforged with very polished armor, scale mail armor. The face is, for lack of a better term, robotic, obviously. But the eyes itself are like almost like a ring camera. So basically the outer edge has a cyan blue tint, and on the inner side it is the lens of a camera, more or less. Very human-esque features of the face, but very robotic nonetheless. And then on top of his head, he does have a metal mohawk of sorts, where the top is lined with a cyan blue, as well as around the neckline, there is some, I guess you could call them soft spots or leather covering what you would assume to be wiring, gears, and whatnot. And that is as well like a cyan blue. He is about 6 foot tall. And I imagine hammering away or tinkering away with a current job piece.
And yeah, you are surrounded in this workshop by just pretty much every piece of machinery and kind of arcanomancy to make technology function that you could think of, but none of it is put together. It is disorganized. It is in piles around this workshop. There's a half-built sand skimmer just suspended from chains from the ceiling, and what is probably an incredibly volatile barrel of aviation crystals that help them float and propel themselves, just in a barrel next to it. And what you're sure will be the death of you, but your current employer, Sparrow, has their ways of organizing. And you have tried to tell them before about proper storage etiquette and ways to go about it, and they have disregarded you. Is there any project you're working on currently that you wanted to tinker with, or...
If there is no project that has been given to me, he would be currently trying to do upgrades for himself.
Okay. Just an ongoing thing that you kind of work on. Go ahead and give me a tinker's check. Tinker tools.
All right. Question is I don't remember. I think I'm proficient in all tools.
Yeah, proficiency, and so your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence modifier.
Yes, I am. A lot. 21.
21? We're gonna start off. Well, something clicks just about right, and in your coolant, really like coolant intakes, it's like a breath of fresh air, but for a robot. We're gonna give you 5 temporary hit points that are gonna last until used. And when you start working on actual modifications and upgrades, we'll give you a little bonus there.
Okay.
Working on yourself, you finally replace some of the paneling that you had removed from yourself as you're going through. When over a ascending stone, you... Averin, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Got I've got a pickup for you. It's from an old contact of mine. This is the voice of Sparrow, your current employer. If you could go pick it up for me, she's gonna be. She stayed at the. What was it? One sec. I'm sorry. I had this very ready.
Never apologize.
I will always apologize. It's how some of us with anxiety just deal with it. So we just apologize for everything.
Just profusely apologize.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I say I'm sorry so much.
I'm sorry that I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I did it again. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of you. I just really resonate with that feeling.
What is...
Much like Sparrow, the organization. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, well, I had something, and the person this is in regards to, I'm sorry if we agreed on something previously, but that's because I'm blanking.
Your location might change.
We'll roll with it.
Gonna pick up for you at the Flying Fish Tavern over towards the core district. If you could pick her up for me, it's a delivery from Sunkist.
Yes. And Sparrow, might I continue our conversation with your organization of the shop? It is very
sorry, you're breaking up.
inefficient.
I'm going through a tunnel.
Hello? Are you there?
It's a tunnel. No, I'm not.
It's very inefficient.
Tunnel.
Well, I'll have to tinker with that later.
She's got a chicken. Just pick her up.
Then putting the last few screws and bolts in, he is going to make his way to the Flying Fish.
Out of the workshop, through the Sparrows Nest. We've gone back in time a little bit. It's earlier. It's kind of about the same time that Doman and Angela were entering through the walls. So we've gone back a little bit, simultaneous occurrences. You've become pretty familiar in the time that you've been in the city of Avarice. About how long would you say you've been working for Sparrow?
Not terribly long as far as putting on a job application goes, but been there for a little bit. I'd say probably about 2 months, 3 months.
Just working on odd jobs. And in your experience, Sparrow deals with a little bit of everything, and has primarily just taken advantage of your mechanical acuity as an artificer to continue repairs. You've repaired everything from military vehicles to personal transport, weaponry to tools. A lot of people coming in that have broken the screen on their crystals that they used to, keep in touch with each other. Lots of crystal repair. which is good business, especially with the banana crystals, which are fully proprietary and like people can't fix them on their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's just brands. They're not actually like banana or banana shaped or anything.
It's just a brand name.
It's good. Yeah, it's good money. It keeps things flowing. So you don't get a whole, but you've been here for a while, so you don't get a lot of odd looks in the immediate vicinity of the Sparrow's Nest. Which changes as you get farther away into those areas you don't frequent as often. Warforged are around, but most Warforged are in the upper tiers of Avarice, among the Exos and the Mesos. And from your understanding, none of them seem to have similar levels of personality to you. They are guards, they're sentries. But you haven't seen them in person. This is all hearsay. So some more odd looks. People do give you a wide berth because of the weight of what you are and what it potentially means if somebody from the upper tiers has come down here. Closer examination with your imperfections and lack of polish, I'm going to assume.
So the armor is very polished. He himself could use a little work, which he's always working on.
Yeah. Anybody, close examination would show that you are not one of the defenders of the upper tiers. But for the most part, you're given a wide berth, and you make it to the Flying Fish Tavern pretty easily. There's music coming from the tavern that you hear before you make it to the doors. It's a decent tavern. It's not extravagant by any means, but you've seen much worse. As you enter, there is a small crowd gathered, enjoying, their post-work drinks and meals. And a young halfling is playing an instrument. I'm not going to deign to know what, but Lucy, if you'd like to describe Yoshida.
Yoshida is
I said it right.
Yeah, you did. Is a half elf. She is a pretty young half elf with dark hair. She looks a little angsty. She's got all black on. She's got a black leather jacket. She looks like she's compensated for something, trying to look tougher than she is. So that eyeliner is like real mean. That she's got some major Doc Martens going on there, but and a black skirt, and she's playing bagpipes, which isn't typically what everyone's used to for their after work beverage consuming. So everyone's kind of enjoying it.
Give me a performance check. Let's let that determine if they're kind of enjoying it or not.
Okay. Performance. So I just roll a d20 plus my performance modifier.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
8.
8. Well, now I get it. They are not enjoying it. Have not been drinking enough to really appreciate the loud, out of place bagpipes that are going on. But sorry, as you were describing Yoshida, they're kind of enjoying your music. This is all from her perspective.
Yeah, she's like, I haven't been booed off stage yet, so maybe I'll earn my keep tonight. But so I think as she finishes, she picks up her chicken, Lady Featherweight. She's this bright red chicken, and she puts it on her shoulders so she can continue playing bagpipes. And this might amuse some people, but as I finish up the song, which probably went on too long, I decide maybe it's time for me to move on, because do I see a large Warforged in the tavern?
This is as you finish up. You see the large Warforged entering through. and kind of looking around.
Just awkwardly standing right in the middle of the door, just doing a scan.
What's that? A couple like edges their way around him in the doorway. A full-blooded orc, and then like a human male kind of work their way around the Warforged in the doorway. A goblin kind of walks through and just walks between his legs as they're entering in. There is cheering as you stop playing. Go ahead and make an insight check.
Okay, let me make sure
Oh no.
I know how to do this. Sorry. Insight. Sorry. What do I do? D20 plus.
D20 and then just plus your insight.
Oh.
Which is the same as your, or in the same section as your performance on D&D Beyond.
23.
23. They are cheering that you are done playing. And there is another bard coming on. This is an elven woman with a violin just glitzed up. She's wearing like a skin-tight long-sleeve sequin dress with bangles going from her elbow to her wrist. There's on one shoulder a mechanical arm that is constantly kind of moving to adjust for lighting, and a crystal there. She's clearly, live casting whatever her performance is about to be. And a few of her fans have shown up.
As she gets on stage to start, I like stuff my bagpipes in my bag, and it's just like.
Oh, please, a round of applause for Yosta. She was wonderful, wasn't she? And a couple of the people just polite applause. You get a 23 in your insight, it's all bullshit. Like, she's just doing the whole, like, oh, support those less than me.
I like flourish of flipping off of her.
Who begins playing? And it's all right. Like, it's not great. It's
not some
well, let's
kabobs
see.
or anything.
I'll leave that to the. Yeah, no, it's not great. Like, it's maybe a step above what you were doing, but
She's
this inn
pretty.
can't. Yeah, this inn can't afford like A-listers. Like, let's be real. This is the Flying Fish Tavern. They're not gonna. Averin, your quarry, I guess. The package is clearly in front of you. She said the one with the chicken.
Okay. So
They said
as soon as he spots the chicken, he just beeline straight for you.
As you're doing your bagpipes into the bag, just the crowd is not clearing as it is so much being like shouldered to the side. Facing face first into their drinks is just a massive robot just.
I just like look up. You're tall, right?
6 foot even.
Yeah. So I just like look. Can I help you?
I believe you have a package for Sparrow.
I do. Is that my homework too?
It was not in your homework. This is Sunkist, your friend, told you that they were going to put you in touch with Sparrow. Your assumption is that you are the package here.
Oh, yes. I don't have a package, but I am the package.
Oh, very well. And then he picks you up.
Oh, okay.
And without saying a word, just starts walking out.
And my chicken is just like squawking, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, it probably fell off of your shoulder and is like following behind you as you go.
Well, my chicken.
Well, as Averin like takes you out the door, like you're able to kind of reach and grab your pack, all of your belongings that had just been like set by the door next to the bouncer while you were playing. Grab that and are able to pull it along with you as you're just shouldered out into the street. On the walk back, if there's anything the two of you would like to talk about, you have just
So
shy of an hour on this walk.
So first and foremost, you hear, as he was walking up to you, it was very, very smooth and robot-like. But as he's carrying you, you can definitely hear the strain on his towards his leg area. There's almost more of a grinding noise now, as opposed to when there was just a smooth, very nice smooth walk. It's pretty evident that he was not built for strength, or at least has not been very well maintained.
I start kind of pounding on him and being like, "Let me down, you big hunk of junk," because I hear that. I'm not trying to be mean, but you're also carrying me.
Is there a problem?
I can walk.
Oh,
Put me down.
and then just drops you.
Oh, I'm just like,
Make
face
an
down.
acrobatics check. Yeah. Go ahead, make an acrobatics. Same in your skill column.
15.
15. You catch yourself, like he just kind of flips you out, like drops you off of his shoulder, and you catch yourself, stumble, pick up your chicken.
Yeah, just like put her back here. I'm like, mean robot. And I look at you and I was like, where are we going to Sparrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Lead the way, sir.
Starts walking towards Sparrow.
Wait, what do I call you?
Yes. My name is AV4R1N.
Ooh, no. Avrin. Is that what people call you?
Well, yes.
Okay, because I don't remember that. AV4.
R1N.
Oh. So Avrin. I'm Yoshta.
Okay. Hello, Yoshita.
And this is Lady Featherweight.
Hello, Lady Featherweight.
She's just like, "Arr!" And then I just follow you.
Awkwardly
Exit
stares and
Yoshi's
waits for you to
tail.
say something else.
We kind of just stare at each other like,
Would you like to continue?
yes.
Okay.
Get out of the middle of the road. A dwarf with a large cart that's been just stopped kind of patiently behind you is just starting to like fume more and more. Just stay there talking.
Oh, awkward.
You make your way back towards the Sparrow's Nest. The three of you in the alley. The fight is concluded. There is an unconscious body at your feet and a dead one a few feet away on the other side of your cart, your sand skimmer.
And I would know that these are the Lost Sons. Is that what you said?
We'll say you overheard that little bit. That's
Okay. So I see you guys ran into the Lost Sons, huh?
What he called himself.
They certainly are lost now.
Clearly.
Hopefully somebody finds them. This is pretty common. I'm going to assume we don't need to call anybody or clean up a corpse, anything like that.
I think it's best that we just leave these guys alone. I'm kind of surprised to see them up here, though. They're normally down in my area.
Your area, meaning you are what, a tribe against them?
I wouldn't say a tribe against them, but we like to,
Well,
make sure that they don't attack my home. I've had a run-in with them before.
So does your group have their own name?
It's not really. We just, roam the area. Don't like to put
Good, 'cause
titles
it's
on
kind of
things.
cheesy, the whole like Lost Sons gang name. Just
Yeah, I mean, like,
crass.
if you need a name to be known, you got a little more problem than your skills.
yes.
I'm with you. So it was great to meet you. We have a conversation he's having.
Oh, I mean, you guys are new, so where are you headed? Maybe I can point you in the direction.
The Sparrow?
A guy named Sparrow.
Oh, Sparrow over at the Sparrow's Nest?
Yes.
I was heading there myself.
Small world.
Convenient.
Yeah, can I make an insight check?
Yes,
yeah,
I would like.
same.
I would like. Yeah, all three of you to make insight checks.
Ooh, a 9.
It's convenient.
16.
A 10.
It's convenient.
Right, well,
Okay.
16 for me, yeah.
It clicks. The shifting faces that you've seen before. These are two of them. It wasn't until somebody said it was convenient and you started being like, yeah, it is kind of convenient that we're all meeting up. You've seen these two before.
I just kind of turn and face the direction of Sparrows and just say, why don't you guys follow me? I can keep you safe, clearly.
definitely take an escort.
Lead them the last few blocks as you approach in, again, convenient timing. A Warforged and a half-elf coming around another corner, all converging on the Sparrow's Nest, all in neon arcane glyphs. The Sparrow's Nest Hostel, Pawn, and General Services LLC, with a little open sign in the front window of the door. Not neon or anything, just a wooden sign hanging there. It says open. We are going to take a quick break, get some water.
Please.
We'll be back in just a few minutes. Let's call it 10 minutes. 6:32 Mountain Time. Convert for wherever you're at, and we will see you all soon. We last left off with the 5 of you meeting up at the Sparrow's Nest. Some of you for the first time, some of you for the first time in a few minutes. The door is closed, but the sign says open, which Averin, AV4RINV7.0
R17
B
or R1N.
R1N, sorry. R1NV7. You were sure that you changed the sign to closed and locked the door when you had left. So someone, most likely Sparrow, has reopened the shop while you were away. But the 5 of you stand out front conveniently.
I walk over to the door, open it. Welcome to the Sparrow's Nest. And I, for some reason, started to go to Kaya right there.
So we just
You
we
enter
just
the
go in.
familiar store.
I
Yes.
wait for everybody else to go in first.
I'll go in first, and as I do, I like grab the top of the door frame and like visibly duck in. And like I kind of stare at Averin's face as I do, but I don't like say anything.
Tuck in as well and stare very curiously at this contraption.
And the room you enter is full of just as many, not quite equally odd oddities throughout the shop. An array of magical and non-magical equipment, machinery, tools. It is a massive pawn shop, essentially, with workstations about. You see a doorway in the back that leads to what looks like bunk beds kind of set up, Averin, where you power down for the evening in the bunk room. The hostel part of the Sparrow's Nest. At a cluttered desk in the back, a black feathered owlin with kind of white spots, flecks through the face and neck, kind of above the shoulders where you can see. Kind of turns or looks up from a ledger he's currently writing. Suppose it's kind of convenient when you all show up at once, if not odd. Everyone, good job getting the package. I'm going to guess I'm looking at Sai. Going to guess you're Sai. And you two are the strays that Jotun sent me. Means you must be Yoshta. I get that all right?
Minus the strays bit, a little demeaning, but
Sorry,
more or less.
Packages, whatever you want to be called. Well,
People is good.
I pick up the shiniest thing I can find and start playing with it.
okay, roll a d100.
Oh god.
People are never good on Joe. I
have to
prefer other monikers. It's nothing personal, just I've never been tried to nothing a thing's never tried to kill me. People have.
I don't have a D100.
Do you
Do you have a d10?
Oh, yeah.
Roll yeah, if
Two
there's a d10 with a 0 and a d10 that doesn't have the 0 after each number, roll those two.
23.
23. Yeah. You pick up. It looks like just a cube, and there's some grime on it. You wipe some of the grime off, and it kind of shines through. Bing, bing, bing,
Shit.
bing, 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 bing.
Oh no.
Bing,
And I
bing,
just like
bing,
tossed
bing,
it at
bing,
Avrin.
bing. Avrin, she throws. You haven't worked on this. You don't know what it is, but a ticking, flashing cube at you. It lands in your hand. Bing, 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 bing. Go ahead and make a Tinker's. Actually, no. With you, I will just say you look at it, and it is some form of like grenade, and you tap the same spot that she had just like pressed multiple times. You just tap it twice. A little side panel pops open, and you just pull out a wire, and it bing, 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 bing.
Oops.
I'll have to fix that later.
See, you're gonna be some trouble.
Now, what exactly are we all here for?
My understanding is that most of you are here for work, getting out of the waste, getting. Avron's been working with me for at least a month. Sai, you're here, I know, for work. Yoshta's here to keep herself out of trouble. It's really up to you. That's what I do. Is I take those new to the city or seeking a better way in the city. I give them work, put them in touch with people I know, help them pursue their own goals. So the question really is, what are you here for?
Well, maybe I should clarify. What jobs do you have for us? And is it jobs that will require us to work with these others?
At least at first, I only really know Avrin. Most of the work I do is somewhat sensitive. If you just wanted to be a craftsman or an artist, you wouldn't need to go through me for that. So at first, I prefer to have you work together so I can find out who I can trust and what your skills are. It was convenient you showed up at once. Oh, yeah.
Sai kind of like starts stretching his hands out and looking at him, flexing his fingers a little bit. You got anybody that needs taken care of? By any chance?
Angel's going to roll her eyes.
We'll
do you mean,
start you
like-
off with lighter work than
Are they
wet
sick?
work. Say, I was worried about you.
All right.
I bet I start you off with a package. You can wait till
I have
tomorrow.
already retrieved a package.
Different
Yeah.
package, Averin. But you did fine. It's this. And they reach behind the desk and pull out a small box and open them up. There's a series of yellow fist-sized crystal that's been carved and faceted. It looks very much like the Ava crystals that would go into a skimmer to keep it afloat, but instead, as Sparrow picks it up and presses a couple runes on the side, it just begins to glow with like a warm light, like sunlight. There's 4 of them. I have a contact in the city who's working on a bit of a project with me, or for me. Balin Halfhand. Don't ask him how he got the name. He's quite touchy on it. He's working on a bit of a
Touchy.
project for me, and he requires these. Tomorrow, if you can get them over to him, he's on the far side of the slums, which is why I can't just do it myself or send it by the normal postal. It's a little bit dangerous, but it looks like she looks at the cut across like Angel's shoulder and arm from where you were hit earlier. It looks like at least some of you can handle themselves. Averin, I trust you to keep an eye on this lot. Make sure they don't try to fuck me. And
Will do.
you are familiar with the crystals. And I hope you know, I don't mean that literally. Make sure they don't steal from me.
Thanks for the clarification.
I forget with this one. You have to be... Averin, he'll do exactly what you ask him to, if he's so inclined. Exactly.
Noted.
Didn't need to
Like
spend
a
the
bit of
evening with
fun.
you making sure these all get their pants, keep their pants up.
In that case, you are in no danger.
I like reach over and poke Angel. I'm like, cast healing word on her.
What?
For the healing?
Yeah.
Thank you. She kind of begrudgingly says.
You get 5 points.
Thanks.
In the meantime, unless you have other accommodations, there is bunks in the back. Surprisingly, each of your accommodations have already been paid for. So you're welcome to stay, unless you have other accommodations you'd prefer. You'd no refunds. So I'm keeping what payment has already been made. But other than that, it's getting late for the day. Show yourselves around. Let me know if you'd like to buy anything. I stay upstairs. Averin can ring you up.
I would like to know what the pay is on this delivery.
Let me immediately asking about pay. This is going to be a fun accommodation.
Is this not what you do? You provide services and receive compensation?
My thought was this would be a little bit more of an audition. You'll come to me and you're like, give me work, and then I'm like, here's work, and you're like, now pay me. This is... I'll give you 20 gold each.
All right.
Do we get the ticking box too? Can we take that? Can I have that?
I'm not going to be able to sell it unless Averin fixes it. So you get 15 gold and the ticking box.
That'll do.
Yeah. Extends the hands at the end of their wing.
Averin's sitting there just tinkering away with it at the moment.
Okay. Go ahead and make a tinker's check for me.
That's what that was.
20. Not natural.
20. Yeah, that's that same wire that you just pulled out. You managed to reset the activation switch. and rewire it, closing the panel, and hand it back to Yoshida. Or you have it fixed. I'm not going to tell you what you do with it, but you have it fixed in your hand just while the conversation is going on.
I'm like looking over his shoulder or his arm because I'm shorter. Like,
It is fixed.
Okay. While you've been doing that, Sparrow like sidestepped a couple times through a door, and you all hear the footsteps going upstairs as they've just left you in their shop.
I will, like, as we hear him departing, look at Ange and then take off after him real quick. Follow him upstairs. Just see if I can catch him on the stairs or something.
Oh yeah, easily enough. He kind of like snuck to the side just while Yoshida and Avrin were talking. You catch them at the base of the stairs.
Sparrow, if I could.
Yeah, of course.
Real generous of you and all to pay us for the work that we're doing. I'm a little more interested in information, if I could. I'll take your gold. Don't think I won't. But if I needed to know where someone was, where something was, anything else about the city, are you the person to talk to, or where would you send me?
Generally, yeah, I'd be the person to talk to. Information is not free.
Sure. Let's call it half pay on my end, and any information you have about my questions upon a job well done.
Let's hear the questions first, and then we'll decide how much those are worth.
I'm looking for these two people, and I'll take out sketches of Lyra and Mav and just slide them across. Asmer looking young lady, real wispy type, says a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. And then I'll push the other one of Mav forward. Looks a lot like me, real broody type, doesn't say much, usually the more stabby in the back type.
Fair looks over them. Well, I haven't seen either of them. I can put some feelers out. Do you mind if I take these?
Yeah, that's fine. Make sure I get them back, huh?
Yeah, just easier to do what you did and show them. I'll show these around to a couple of my friends. God's bloods don't do too well in the city, so you better hope she's hanging out with her brother.
He can blend in pretty well.
Yeah, I would hope so. And with your companion, I wouldn't let her get too far off alone in the wrong part of town. Anybody will be attacked, but God's bloods don't do so well.
More worried about the attackers than her, but I appreciate your advice.
Depends on the part of the city you're in. I'm sure she can handle her own, but I won't charge you if I don't find anything. The charge depends on how difficult it is to figure it out. So
I'll take information. I'll take a lead. I'll take them if you can find them. But
I'll put some feelers out, see if anybody's seen them. Or by the time you get back to from the delivery tomorrow, I'll have at least other contacts you can go to.
That's all I can ask, I guess. Thanks. And I imagine I'm like 4 or 5 steps down, so we're pretty eye to eye level. And I'll clap them on the shoulder and appreciate it. And make my way back down.
While
he's up the stairs.
While they're having that conversation, Angel is going to turn towards the group and specifically look at oh my gosh, say your name again. The hard one.
Yoshida?
Yoshida, thank you. We'll look at Yoshida and say, so what exactly do you do?
Oh, a little bit of everything.
I
can play some bagpipes really good. You want me to show you right now?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fair. This is Lady Featherweight.
So
does pretty much what I want her to do.
You play the bagpipes? Do you know many other musicians?
I've known a few from my time. at home. I'm best at the viol. But yeah.
So, but you play bagpipes. You're best at viol, but you play bagpipes.
Yeah, well, you gotta play what you can get a hold of. And I'm like,
alright,
as we're talking, I'm like hoping, like, want Lady Featherweight to jump on top of Avarice's head to try to distract him, because I want to get that box back.
Tink, 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 tink. Is this just pecking the top of his head?
Doesn't seem to phase him whatsoever.
I'm like, Does anyone else need healing?
I'm good.
And our small friend over there, I believe did fairly okay in our fight.
Yeah, you're not so bad yourself.
Appreciate the help, especially coming from someone so well. Yes.
That's all right. You can think what you want about my height.
You are very short.
We're not all giants over here. Most of the ladies I see are pretty small.
And most of the ladies you see, nobody will ever hear of.
I'm like looking around, like, y'all were in a fight.
Does she say that out loud?
Yes.
Oh no, just friendly banter, right?
Yeah, just some of the lost sons from the area. They like to run their mouth a little too much.
Ooh, sorry.
Do you know much about the Lost Sons?
Oh, not much. They're just bandits, thieves. Like to get in the way. Cause trouble.
Are they organized?
Yeah, judging by that last fight, doesn't seem like it.
I mean, it's organized enough to have a name, but to me they seemed very meager.
I like poke your muscle on your arm, like, whoa.
Yes.
And I'm gonna just start kind of looking around the shop, just seeing if there's any like daggers or anything like monkish, like useful type of thing. Nothing magical at all. But as I'm doing that, I'm just gonna be like, "So Angel, you guys came from the outside?
Yes.
What brought you to Avarice?"
Oh, adventure, fun, looking for some old friends.
Ah, the old friends, huh?
Mhm.
Well, I hope you guys can find them. I'll just kind of keep wandering, looking
A
around.
little while looking around, you find there's just kind of a crate. There's like a couple walking sticks and a single quarterstaff kind of poking out from the corner. Looking in, there's like a pile of knives, everything from like cooking knives to a couple like daggers, and there's one short sword, all just clumped, and just a loud clattering of metal as you start moving it around.
I'll just kind of filter through it and not take anything.
Anybody else wanting to do anything in particular? Look for anything in particular?
Dom will come in back around this time, go to one of the bunks, kick off his shoes, and lay down and kick his feet up first thing. Sai, you're from around here, yeah?
Yeah, you could say that.
Know where we're going tomorrow?
No idea.
Right. Avi. You know where we're going tomorrow?
Yes.
Great, good enough for me. And he tosses his head back.
Okay. A little bit of time goes by. You all rummaging through the shop. Averin, when the time comes around, you change the from open to closed and lock the door. Nobody has come in probably the hour or so that you've been here. You turn off some of the lights and dim as you all just kind of settle in for your new, at least temporary home. Around an hour or two goes by, and there's a loud knock at the door.
My chicken squawks.
5P4RK, and out from almost like a closet, you see down at the bottom a little hatch opens and a beagle robot dog comes out.
Both of their reactions.
Bark. Sits awaiting your command at the tail.
Yep, just it ticks like exactly 1 second, like a clock. Tick.
You could use it as a clock.
Oh.
Bark, bark,
Please.
bark. Turns. The mechanical ears built to actually flop a little bit like a beagle. It gets to the base of the door, and it stands up on its hind legs, and the back extends, bringing its like chest and arms level with the doorknob, and it unlocks it, cracks the door open, at which point it recedes back to the normal size of a dog, falls forward onto all fours, and like paws open the door very much like a dog would, and pushes the door open. And it turns to the side, sits like a doorstop. Bark, bark. You're in over to the door. There is a middle-aged half-orc. He has two swords at his hip, crossbow across his back. Make a perception check for me.
That's not good. Oh,
Are we all in the
okay.
back room?
Not as bad. Still
Yeah,
not
you're
good.
all in that back room. So if anybody is looking from the door, you can see out to the door. But Averin's the only one that actually walked up.
8.
I'm in the doorway.
8. Just this guy. He's got his long hair pulled back into a ponytail. Right.
I'm sorry, we are closed.
Do you have some new guests staying with you? Averin, right? You've been working with Sparrow for a while.
I have.
And you've got some guests that showed up today, right?
Client privilege is not allowed to be spoke of.
Well, I'm just going to take that as a yes, because I know you do. Because, Averson, you want to come over here? And kind of out of the shadows, one hand on his sword, sunken eyes with black, just like half swollen shut just from getting hit square between them by something hard and metal, a bruise spreading out, and a clearly freshly broken nose. He just kind of stums up and goes, "Yeah, boss. This here is one of my clients. And now I'm responsible for him. And if don't take care of my people, the people above me will be upset, and I could lose my job. So you can see the position I'm in. I want to respect your client-patient confidentiality, but I'm going to need you to send out the God's blood."
You will have to resolve this issue tomorrow as we are closed. Close door.
He is going to try to catch it, so we're going to do an opposed athletics check here.
Okay, I'm going to use my armor to let me basically change some stuff up, so I'll be better at this. So basically, as he goes to catch the door, at the back of his gauntlet, some flame starts to shoot out and pushes the door very quickly.
Yeah, he rolled a natural 1, so you don't need to. That's as you do that. He catches like the edge of the door, like doing the whole like putting his hand up and then his foot at the base to catch it, and barely manages to pull his fingers out of the way. And you hear like a crick in his foot as the ankle gets twisted, and he like pulls his foot back as you just slam the door shut. The rest of you in the back, like dust shakes from the timbers above. From a rocket-propelled door being shut. Yes. I don't have all the patience in the world. So how about you talk to them, and I'm going to give you about 2 minutes before we just set this place aflame.
Open the door again. I do not suggest doing that.
I'll start making my way out from all the commotion.
Can we hear like his yelling into the building?
Oh yeah, that last bit you definitely heard. He's right, so I can come in.
No.
Then you're suggesting he tries to push past, like just like barge in. That's another natural 1 on. I'm gonna switch dice. That's going in dice jail. He goes to push back you, great. And we're just gonna go on that same previous use of the enhanced arcane magical strength armor stuff that you've got, and he like takes a step, and just that hand you put it against his chest and just pushes him, and he falls back down the stair, like the 2 steps leading up, just landing on his back. I'm taking it from 2 minutes to 1. Send him out, and we set the shop aflame.
I will give you 30 seconds to leave the premises.
Okay. He stands up. What are the rest of you doing?
I throw bardic inspiration at him, at Avron.
And as I come out, am I able to see the dude we beat the shit out of earlier?
Yes, you see him, and then the larger half-orc who's now sitting up. Go ahead and make a perception check for me as well.
That would be a 17.
17. With that, you see there are a number of other people off in the shadows, just kind of sort of obscured by the door. The lights on the street creating those darker shadows, and they're just on the edge of the light. There are approximately 8 people, including the 2 that you see in front of you.
I'll just call back to the back room. Looks like our friend brought some company with him this time.
Smart of him for once. And I'm going to look over at Dom and say, I think that they sorry, words are hard. Look at Dom and say, are you ready?
Ready for what?
As I'm fluffing my pillow and just tucking my bed back into being made.
Right, 30 seconds. I'm going to give you one last chance, lad, because you obviously aren't familiar that no one in these parts fucks with the Lost Sons. And things are just going to keep getting worse unless you
Small
give
missiles
up the
come
gas.
up from my shoulders.
Okay.
I immediately put Lady Featherweight on the bed that Doman just made. I'll let you stay there.
Starts pecking around at his blanket. Shits once.
As Avron's missiles pop up, I'm just gonna walk up next to him, pat him on the back, be like, now Avron, no need to mess the shop up, and I'm just gonna step outside.
David, was that actually like part of an attack, or was it just a threatening gesture?
Threatening gesture.
Okay, I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative.
Initiative.
And just it's D20 plus your initiative bonus, right?
Yes. I got an 18 plus 2 makes a dirty 20. Much better than my first
21.
initiative.
14.
17.
20.
Jesus. I'm lowest with
Pretty
14.
solid, y'all.
21 for me if you missed that.
Oh no, I got it. Weirdly enough, I actually hit auto roll initiative on the players, and it was right on every single one of you except for Doman.
Oh, wow, that's
Aw.
weird.
Yeah, that was
That's
weird as shit.
convenient.
Yeah, seems to be a theme.
Which,
crazy.
as always, Sai, you step past Avrin in the doorway, popping your knuckles. What do you do? That's they're in kind of a semicircle. So there's the large half orc in the front, the guy with the broken nose slightly behind him.
Would you have considered our rest a short rest? Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, you can have short rested if you would like. And then, yeah, in kind of a semicircle around the doorway, there's 6 others. Just kind of varying races, mostly humans. There is 1 kobold, and then like a halfling and a half elf.
Okay. And I'm guessing the half orc is the one that looks the most opposing. Or
Yeah,
imposing,
he
I
is.
should
He
say.
is definitely the leader.
Okay.
I also just like, I hope you all do well. I'll back you up. And then you all have bardic inspiration.
All of us?
So
Thanks.
Bardic Inspiration is a bonus action to use.
Oh, okay. So I don't do that yet.
Yeah, you can only inspire 1 person at a time. Currently, David has it. On your
And-
turn, you'll be able to inspire 1 other person.
Oh. Then
And
I don't do
then-
that, I'm sorry.
the Bardic Inspiration, what is that? What dice is that?
Should be a D6.
For 10 minutes, the creature can add it to 1 ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
And that's a
think it's a-
one-time, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it can be added after seeing the roll, but not before knowing the outcome.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, no worries. That's I think where it is in early, because your first time playing D&D was in our Armageddon Wonderland one shot, right?
That was my second.
Second, yeah. Do not worry about rules clarifications, stuff like that. We all still get them. So
I've been playing for like 5 years and I still don't know anything.
to tell you what, I have to tell you what half your spells do.
Yeah.
So Sai's gonna run up, or as he's gonna look at the guy that they beat before, and just say, "Clearly, you didn't tell them what they're dealing with." And I'm gonna run up and pole vault over the orc, using my
Okay.
staff, and then come down and punch him right in the kidney.
Hey, kidney punch the half orc. Let's
Yeah.
go. Roll the hit.
That is a 20 dirty.
20 hits.
4 points of damage. And then I'll do
Flinches to the side a little bit.
I'll do flurry of blows, spending a key point for my bonus action. That one misses with a 9. Oh, Jesus Christ. And that's an 8. So I
Both
just still
missed.
haven't quite figured out how to come up with the flurry of blows.
Oh, I think I've got an idea what I'm dealing with. Angel.
Angel is going to step into the doorway and she is just going to kind of sigh, and then her eyes are going to glow golden as she casts Bless on Sai. Oh my gosh. Why can I'm writing your name down right now because one more time for me.
Yoshta.
Yoshta. Yoshta.
Yo.
Like Yoda. There you go.
I know, but I kept saying Yoshi in my head, and so
You can call me Yoshi.
Yosh.
Yoshta. Okay, so cast it on Sai, Yoshta, and Doman.
Probably yourself. Don't cast it on me.
And that's bless, you said?
Bless?
Is that a D4 to everything?
Okay, yes, honey. It is,
Yeah.
add a d4 to your attack rolls or your saving throws.
Thank you.
So I was skipped, right?
Yes.
And
Okay.
And what else are we? Anything else?
That's my action, and then I'm gonna run not to the. Who's the dude in the front?
The leader is the guy that's in the front right now, in front of. He's between you and Sai. Oh, did we just lose?
We
Did
did.
we lose Rachel?
Yeah.
That's okay. For
She's
now.
running to
Ish.
somebody. Yoshida.
Yes. She's running towards somebody. And I want to cast
My computer completely overheated. It just shut off.
Cloud of Daggers, but I don't want it to hit anybody
what a fan of.
in inner.
You'd be able to cast it at one
Yeah,
of
pretty
the
cool. I
people
mean-
in the back.
Sit next to you.
And hit them as well as people on either side of them because they're pretty close together. Or is it a 5-foot radius?
It's a range of 60 feet, 5-foot cube.
5-foot cube. So you can only hit one person. So you can cast it on the big guy. You can cast it on
Big guy.
any one person that you want.
So
Okay.
I hold
Is
my
that a
piece of
saving
glass.
throw?
And I kind of like hope I don't cut myself. I just rub it on it. And I'm like, die.
Is there a saving throw or anything associated with that?
I don't think so. But my
Very
saving DC
happy
is
sounding
14.
music.
Yeah, it's a cool. So I send Cloud of Daggers to the big guy. If there's a spell save, I have 14.
Does it say there's an attack roll?
Out of daggers.
No.
Okay, when it enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there. So it will not deal damage now. If you summon it on him, it springs into existence, just the spinning daggers all over the place. It will not deal damage yet, but on his turn, it will deal 44.
Okay. And then I make sure that I'm behind the door frame, like I'm not in view of anybody, and then that'll be my turn.
Which leads to him, who you get to roll your 44 damage.
Just use D&D Beyond because
Just for those of you at home, we're consolidating 2 of our players into one screen because somebody's computer fried.
8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. All right. As it cuts him and he steps to the side, looking over at Sai and goes, "You're one of them voiceless ones." And is going to unload 3 attacks into him. Oh, Angel, where did you run to? You cut off in the middle of what you were saying.
The dude in the front getting ready to attack him.
Okay, so we're gonna split those attacks. We're gonna do. I'm gonna do 2 attacks against Sai, and 1 attack against Angel. First attack is a 21 to hit.
Is that on me? That'll be a hit.
Yes. Okay. So with the scimitar, 4 points of slashing damage. Second attack against you, Sai, with his dagger is only a 13 to hit.
Miss.
Misses. And then he comes back around at Angel with the second scimitar attack for a 15. Which is
15
not.
does
She has an
hit.
18 armor class. We've got 5 normal dudes now. We're gonna split up. We've got Averin in the doorway, Angel and Sai out in the street. Doman hasn't left the building yet, and Esther, Yoshida, is tucked inside the doorway. So we're gonna do 1 attack against each of you, and then a 2nd attack against Angel and Averin. First attack against Sai misses. Second attack against Averin is a 16.
Does not hit.
Misses. Angel misses. 1 more against Averin, which is a natural 20. So that one will hit.
What's the total?
23.
I cast shield.
It's an automatic hit.
But could I cancel out the double damage?
Yes, well, you can cancel the crit by overcoming the total there.
Okay.
I was gonna be able to be the first one to roll my new crit table. Okay, that is 7 points of slashing damage because I managed to maximize that.
Okay.
Or no,
I
rolled the wrong die because this is they're firing with crossbows. That is only 6 points of damage.
Okay, that still would have hurt a lot.
Oh yeah, no, it would have. So 6 points, and then the final attack against Angel misses. So 5 attacks. I hit once. Doman.
Daman is going to. He's still in the building, so he will step out again, doing the grab the underside of the door, and just taking a quick survey. Are there any groups of them that are kind of clumped?
They're in kind of a circle, like a semicircle, like partially across the street in shadow. You can hit, if you aim for one on the middle, there is one guy 10 feet to his, or a 5 foot, and then him. There's a 5 foot gap between each of them. Okay. So a 10-foot radius would hit 3 of them.
Okay. In that case, I will grab the underside of the door, come out and say, all I want is some goddamn peace and quiet, and I will cast Flaming Sphere.
Sorry, your camera just fully decided to ignore you, centered on Rachel, and then just was slowly zooming in as you were talking.
It's not important. So yeah, I'll cast a Flaming Sphere in a location where I could get as many of them as I can. 3 of them, if that works.
Yeah, you should be able. Is it a 10-foot radius on Flaming Sphere?
It says 5 foot diameter sphere appears in an unoccupied space. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of the sphere makes a dexterity saving throw. So it's 5 foot and then 5 foot on each side of that.
Okay, yeah. So you can put it between 2 of them and get 2 people.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah. And then anybody that ends their turn there makes a dexterity saving throw. So let's put it down, and then as a bonus action, I'll clench my fist and yank it towards me, and the Flaming Sphere will move and ram into one of those guys before returning to its space.
Okay.
That creature must make a saving throw against the sphere's damage, so that's a dexterity saving throw.
A 6.
Needs a 14.
Not a 14.
He's gonna take a whole 3 points of damage.
It's damage. All right. This guy. He begins to burn. It hurts him a lot. These guys most of the guys here are not quite as tough as the guys you faced before. So that was still a chunk.
Sweet.
Anything else you're doing with your turn?
I think that's gonna be it. I'll just be stood in the doorway.
Okay. Averin.
Okay. Is there an angle? He will take an attack of opportunity if he needs to. Is there an angle I could hit potentially 3 of them in a straight 30-foot line?
Yeah, we'll say you'd be able to line that up. Okay, you do not have to take an attack of opportunity. The leader hadn't moved up on you when Sai and Angel closed on him, so you can move off to the left and kind of catch 3 of those guys in line if you need to.
Okay, then yeah, I will do that, and Let me pull this up here. So he takes a canister out of his bag and attaches it to his arm and puts his palm forward, and a small nozzle comes out the front, and it shoots a thick, like, ichor. It's hard to tell because it's dark what color it is. It's a dark color, so it just looks black, and it sprays like a fire hose out and hits people in a straight line.
All right.
They need to make a 14 dex save.
First one makes it, second one does not, and third one does not.
Okay. So first one, let me 2d4 damage.
I think we can roll just one damage roll, and we'll apply it to all of them.
So it was 3. The first one takes whatever half of 3 you want to make it.
We'll round it up. We'll say 2.
And then the other ones take 3 as well. Or they take 3. Yeah.
One of the guys, the one that is like just had been bashed by the flaming sphere and is now being sprayed, it just like screams. He's still standing. He's just not happy. Anything else for your turn?
He is going to kind of gesture back to the door. 5P4R1K. Attack mode.
Bark.
And from there, what happens is his paws fold back on themselves, so almost as if his hand were to go flat against his forearm.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts to hover, and small wings pop out from his back.
Bark.
And that's it.
Inquiring minds want to know: are they dragon wings? Are they dragonfly wings? Are they bat wings?
They are just small mechanical wings. They don't really resemble anything. They are optimized for stabilization while floating.
They're the like fighter wings that have
wings.
the gyroscopic stabilized like blades in the center. So as he turns, they level and like let him do those really tight.
Yeah.
Bark.
So cool. I love this little buddy.
Anything else? That's your turn.
Yes, and then just remember the 2 that failed, because that's going to be a thing. Let me double check and read this really quick. A creature covered in the acid takes 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of its turns.
Okay.
It can use its action to scrape or wash it off. Itself or another creature.
The guy with the broken nose, who's still kind of like massaging it, pulls out his sword, looks around, eye contact with Doman, and he's going to rush up and make 2 attacks against you. The first one, he comes in with a pommel and is trying to break your nose as well.
How tall is this guy? Because he's gonna have to pommel up.
Yeah, he like reaches up. He's probably like 5'8".
So how far
stocky.
is Doman near me? How close are we?
No, because you ran down and out. Doman's in the doorway. So you're probably a good 15 feet apart. But yeah, he runs up. He does not take into account the height difference. Because how tall is Doman again?
6'7". He's tall.
Yeah, so he like arm up, tries to strike you. Does not work with a 7. Second attack, which is a 21 to hit.
No one does.
With that just heavy curved sword, he comes in just at like your thigh, slashes into it, dealing 3 points of slashing damage.
Ow.
That is his turn.
So, real quick, can I slightly retcon something because I had this cool little thing that I wanted to do and I didn't do it. But anyway, so before he ran out of the room, his mohawk opened up and came down and became a face shield. And so now all you see is a small slit with the glowing cyan lights behind it.
That's dope.
Ah.
I like that. Yeah,
I forgot
for
about
sure.
that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Retcon cool shit like that all day. The kobold, who's kind of in that back semicircle, the far right, pulls out what looks like a little wand and press it. Like you see runes lighting up as he like activates different portions of it, and he points it at Angel. As it was confusing counting when I realized two of you were on the same screen again, and throws out a chromatic bolt. There's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
So a burst of lightning jumps out, striking you, dealing 6 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
And as he does, that white fire from her ring runs back up the lightning bolt with the same amount of speed and hits him and shoves him back 10 feet.
Right. Does it deal 2 points of psychic damage?
2 psychic, yes.
2 psychic. Throwing him back 5 feet. He picks himself back up, stands, and the wand discharges at Avarice. This time with acid as well, actually. 13 to hit, so it does miss. And like a blob of acid just flies past you. That is its turn. Bring us to Sai.
So Sai's gonna go after the half orc again. I'm gonna take my quarterstaff and kind of like swirl it around, and then bring elbow across and hit him with the backside of it across the face.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, could I roll today? That's a miss.
Remember, you bless.
It would have still missed. It was a 5 plus max 4. So, let's see. So I guess I'll do a flurry of blows.
Go for it.
And Jesus. All right, I give up. All those miss. His cockiness is getting to him.
wild flurry of blows. The leader is just parrying. It's not that your strikes aren't landing. It's that this is a more skilled fighter than the ones that you had encountered previously. But you potentially open up for Angel to strike a decisive blow.
Wait, are my daggers still daggering?
It hasn't been his turn again yet.
Okay, sorry.
So they would, and he did move out of them. So on your turn, if you can move it, you'll have to move it to continue dealing damage.
So, using her flail, she's going to smack our friend.
Okay.
For 14 to hit.
14 to hit misses.
Okay. And then as a bonus action, she's going to cast Compel Duel on the kobold with the wand.
Okay. He's not going to make his wisdom save. That was a natural 2 on the die. It's compelled. What does that do?
On a fail, the creature is drawn to you, compelled by your divine demand. For the duration, it has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you and must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from you.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Perfect. Anything else for your turn?
No, that should be it.
Yoshida.
Okay, so I'm gonna peek out from the door and pull out my little crossbow, and I'm gonna shoot at the kobold with the wand. And so I do the attack roll, right?
Okay.
Okay, 13 plus 5, 18 plus the D4. I don't have a.
That absolutely hits. Yeah.
Okay, and then it'll do. Sorry, 1d8, 10 damage, and then
That's crossbow thuds into the shoulder of this little kobold.
And then as a bonus action, I saw somebody get hurt, but I wasn't sure, so I'm gonna be like, "You okay?"
And Doman, Sai, and Averin have, and everybody's been hit except for you.
Okay, so who's closest to me? Do you know?
That would be Doman. He's
Doman.
still in the doorway.
Because I can't see a whole lot from the door. I just would assume. I'm gonna cast Healing Word, and that would be 8 points of healing.
Solid.
And then to move my movement, I'm gonna go back behind the door. Leave you all out there having fun.
Bringing us to the leader of these gangsters, who is going to, I think, continue just splitting attacks. We're going to go 1 against Sai and 2 against Angel on this one.
And they need to make dexterity saving throws if they haven't left the flaming sphere's radius.
This guy it wasn't one of the ones targeted.
Got it.
He had hit some of the smaller guys. But they do have saving throws coming up after him. So first attack against Angel is a natural 20.
Yeah. I'll use my reaction again to shunt him 10 feet back and 2 psychic.
Okay, that is 11 points of damage to Angel. He's thrown 10 feet back. He's going now 10 feet away. He is going to see if he can. Does not notice where that magic originated from beyond, and thinks it was just her. He is going to just run back in. His first attack against Sai, which is a 15 to hit.
Miss.
And then a dagger attack against Angel is a 9.
Does not
Going
hit.
to miss. We get to the rest of the bandits. The first one, he is not one of the ones that was hit by Flaming Sphere, but he is going to run up and just try to stab Averin.
Was he the one that succeeded on his save for the acid?
Yes, this is the one that succeeded on his save. The next 3 guys are fucked because 3 of them are in range of the Flaming Sphere. 2 of those 3 are covered in acid. This one is fine. He's going to make 1 attack against Averin. That is a 17 to hit.
Does not hit.
Which misses. So that is going to be his turn. Next one, saving throw against... no saving throw against the acid. Saving throw against the Flaming Sphere is a 12.
Need a 14.
14. Okay, so you roll damage on that. David rolled damage on the acid. At the start of this
acid damage.
5 points of
And
acid
5 points fire damage.
And 5 points of fire damage. He is what is on fire and covered in acid collapses in a smoking, stinking pile of just person. He collapses dead. The next one is going to take acid damage automatically, and he got a natural 2 on his saving throw. So go ahead and roll damage for those guys.
Ooh, that's 9 fire on him.
How much acid damage?
It still would have been the. Well,
Oh, so-
actually, I guess they do. I
No,
guess
I
they
think-
do it
yeah.
individually.
Yeah, these ones happen individually.
4, 7.
7. This dude doesn't have meat as he hits the ground. It is bones and smoldering rags of his clothes as he is just dissolved from both sides. The third one, this one is just for the flaming sphere. He got a 13, which I think fails.
So
He said.
fails by 1. So he takes 5 points on that one.
5 points. He survives this.
Poor bastard.
And is going to, from his position, he's actually going to run up and try to stab Sai in the back. With a 17 to hit. Sai?
Oh, sorry.
Sai, does a 17 hit you?
No, sorry. I was reading something else on my thing.
17 does not?
No, it does.
Oh, okay. For 7 points of slashing damage. He dropped his crossbow, dove out of the way of the flaming sphere. He did not get away in time, so he was still burnt. So this charred half-elf comes and just slashes you across the back. A bloody line. There's another one who's going to fire his crossbow bolt at Doman, seeing that that's where the fire is coming from. That is a natural 1, so that is going to miss. Crossbow bolt just thuds into the doorway next to you. It is your turn, Doman.
So I've got one guy in front of me who just slashed my leg, and I just melted 2 of them behind him, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will, because my fist never came down, I will just pull my fist towards me again, and the flaming, as a bonus action, the flaming sphere will move and ram into the guy who just shot a crossbow bolt at me.
That's is that a saving throw?
Yeah, saving throw 14 again.
He fails it. You guys are not doing well.
That's 9 points. That's a solid one.
Yeah, he's hurt. Fires his crossbow as he almost fumbles it as the flaming sphere catches him full in the side. You watch his shirt. This is the halfling. So you watch, he is the size of the flaming sphere. And just see half of his hair goes, his eyebrows are gone, his shirt becomes charred, and his pants are smoking.
And without even looking at him, the kid in front of me is the one that we left unconscious last time, right?
Yes, he was the one that ran up, tried to break your nose, missed, and slashed your legs.
Right. So, and without even looking at the halfling I just rammed the sphere into, I will stare at the kid and say, listen, kid, I gave you a chance once. You can stay here and melt with your friends, or you can leave now.
Make an intimidation check at advantage.
This kid is not intimidated. There's something wrong with his brain.
I rolled a 1 and a 2, though. So that's going to be a 6 grand total.
He does not get a bonus on insight. It was even on the die. He rolled a 5. You are not sure the effect it had because it is not his turn. What would you like to do with your action?
With my action, I will look up from him and look towards Sai, and my eyes again will do that white flame that goes out and gets sucked back in, and he glows with that flame for a second, and his wounds get cauterized. And I will cauterize 4 points of damage.
That sounds painful.
Hurts like hell, but Sai, you feel your wounds close up somewhat. And a smell of burnt hair from your back. Averin.
Okay, so Averin is going to try to take a position where he is in front of the most attackers that he can be, more or less defending everyone else from a majority of the attackers.
Okay. Yeah, you can kind of cross from where you'd gone with the acidic line back behind the fight. That's the duel that's going on in the middle between Angel, Sai, and their leader. And there is the kobold with the wand there, and there are 2 remaining bandits kind of in that direction. One is behind Sai, one of them is with the crossbow being battered by the fire.
Okay. And then he is going to look around and spot the leader, or at least who he assumes to be the leader, the one who's been doing all the talking. And small missiles, again, extend from his shoulders. And they turn to where they shoot out from him, and they don't look like they're going anywhere near anything. And then all of a sudden they turn and just converge.
All right. This magic missile?
Yes.
Or is this? Yeah. All right. Go ahead and just roll damage.
Don't forget you have a 1d6 to add if you want.
That's not to damage, though, right?
No, that's not. That's
okay.
It's 2 attack. He doesn't make attack rolls with magic missile. Magic missile just automatically hits.
That seems unfair. But okay.
It doesn't do a lot of damage. Well, it can actually. All right, so we've got 2 plus 1, which would be 3. Another 3. And a 4.
10.
So 6, 10. Wow, that's actually a lot.
Repelting it into his back, he kind of staggers, blade pressed up against Angel's flail, and just boom, 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 staggers forward a little bit. He's still standing, spits on to the side, a little bit of blood. He's still in it. Anything else you're doing?
Yeah, he is going to turn back and say follow up, and 5P4RK will very quickly, it'll sound like almost like an explosion, and he will shoot out in a diagonal line in about 30 feet from the door. And from in the air, it's going to turn, open its mouth, a small nozzle is going to come out, and a ball of light shoots from its mouth. And I just had it pulled up, and it is gone because description.
Bark.
Yeah. There it is. Okay. So he has to be within 30 feet of the main guy.
Easy enough, yeah.
So from there, and then would you allow me to use the D6 on my dog for inspiration?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to let it go on the last one. I don't think I can let you shield to negate crits. I just realized with your ridiculous AC, you just become broken. So we're good with that last one. But I can't keep doing that.
Can't do it anymore. Okay. Got it. Okay, so that helps out a lot. 18?
18 hits.
Oh, thank God. I rolled for a 12 and then got a 6 on the inspiration. So yeah, that is another max damage, 6 points of force damage.
Right. He's hurt. He's not quite bloodied, but he is hurting. And it brings us to the guy standing in front of Doman, eyes kind of watering. He really hasn't been hit this fight. He's just still hurt from the last one. Slowly puts down his sword in front of Doman, unhooks the crossbow, which just drops to the ground, and bolts. You can make an attack of opportunity if you like.
Nope.
He takes like a step away from you with his hands up and just takes off into the night.
Turn your life around. Make some good decisions.
No response, just
Damn.
The kobold, who is compelled to duel Angel, let's see. Yeah, he's gonna fire he's gonna fire a chromatic bolt at Angel, which is a 21 to hit.
It's
7 points of cold damage. It kind of kicks back on him, and ice encrusts over your shoulder where it hits. Is he taking 2 points of cold damage and being thrown?
Do I
Or 2
have
points of psychic?
my reaction back since the last time she's been hit?
Yeah,
I can't
because
remember
it
if it's
was.
my turn.
Yes, you do, because you intimidated him on the guy in your turn.
Yeah, that's right. Then yes, absolutely. The white fire will like jump in the air while the crossbow bolt's in midair, and then make the second jump back to him, hit him, and knock him back.
Okay. And then it is a saving throw if he wants to attack somebody else, right?
Yeah, wisdom
On
saving
compelled
throw.
to. He's going to try to take a shot at Doman.
No, it's just
which I don't-
disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures
Oh.
other than her.
Oh, okay.
It's saving throw if he's outside
Oh,
20
yeah.
feet.
Definitely misses. That's so a pot shot at you. A firebolt like hits against the wood and kind of begins crackling. Just a little bit of ember, not enough that you think is going to catch. Bring us back to the top with Sai.
Sai is going
These guys are
to
falling all around you. It is.
Sai is going to take a moment and breathe and try to rechannel everything that his elders have taught him. And then he's going to come back across with his staff two-handed, a little bit more sure, and try to hit the knee of the half-orc.
Back.
And that would be 14 to hit.
14 misses.
Out of frustration.
Just barely.
No, it's all good. Out of frustration, he's going to slam his fist in the ground and then use rabbit hop and jump 10 feet away.
Okay. Just the reverse superhero landing where you go into the 3
Yeah.
points and then just take off backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, and he won't be able to have an opportunity attack because of that. So.
Angel?
Well, I thought the other dude went after me, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Give me just a second. Going to do it anyways. I am gonna grapple him.
Okay. This is an opposed athletics check. He has a +4.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay, so he needs a 16 or higher on the die. With a 3, you have him grappled.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to Angel throws her arms around him, squeezes him as tight as she can, and then essentially like shifts so that he is a meat shield in front of her for the cobalt that fires stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So you will have 3/4 cover against the kobold. I'm going to say if he chooses to still make an attack against you and misses, he'll hit the captain. Let's see. Just checking something with grapple. Okay.
Because a grapple is not considered an attack, right?
No, that's not attack. It can replace an attack. But Yoshita.
Okay, I'm gonna peek out again. I'm gonna fire another crossbow.
The leader?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack.
And plus the D4. Shit. 6. So.
6 misses.
And then I'm gonna be like shit. And as I can see Angel is like holding this guy. I'm just gonna be like, you got it. And now that Avarice used his D6, can I do another bardic inspiration for her?
Oh, yeah, you can inspire people whether or not somebody else has used it. You can't inspire multiple people as a single bonus action.
Okay. Well, now Angel has a D6 to use on a check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Anything else you're doing with your turn?
I'm gonna hide again. in the door.
Okay. Which brings us to the leader. He's currently grappled by Angel. He is going to he's going to try to use his action to escape the grapple. So I need an opposed athletics check from you. He rolled a 12 on the die, plus 4 for 16. You have to beat a 16 to maintain the grapple.
Okay. Question.
Yeah. I can't.
It's not picking her up. She's talking a little too quiet.
Talking real loud. Can she use her inspiration on this opposed athletics check?
And
Yes, she
my
can.
bless.
Yeah.
And bless.
Yeah.
Good memories. That's a good thing too.
It's a 10.
And he
13
manages
total.
to 13 total. Yeah, he manages to break the grapple. It was his action to do that, so he's standing there face to face with you. He turns back to face you. He does not get to attack. We have this bandit who is going to move around. He's going to move up because he's closest to Doman at this point because everybody else has moved. So Doman, he's just going to make one attack against you. That is a 13 to hit.
Nope, does not.
13 misses. Dead. This one is going to make another attack against Sai. Natural one.
Oh, shit. No, that misses.
And then this one is going to take this is the one that is right next to the flaming sphere. Got a 7 on his saving throw.
Cool.
So, can you deal less than 2 points of damage?
I didn't.
Yeah. Okay. He just collapses in smoking clothes, burned flesh. And it is your turn, Doman.
So we've got the kobold that's firing pot shots, and we've got the leader left, right? Is there anybody else still helping around?
There are 2 others. So there's one bandit that ran up to you to take a stab at you and missed. One that is next to Sai, and then there's the leader, and then there's the kobold.
Okay. I think first priority, looking over the dude that's standing in front of him. He will. This time, you see under his linen shirt, there's part of a tattoo that looks like a heart, not like a drawn heart, but an actual like anatomically correct heart.
Yeah.
It's got a dagger through it, and you can see like the start of a scroll. And that heart lights up with the fire. It gets sucked back into his body, and Angel's wounds start to close up for 3d6. So she's going to take 10 points of healing. And then as my action, I will hold my hand over the top of the bandit in front of me's head and lob an Eldritch Blast out of my hand towards the Cobalt. And it takes the same shape as a lot of the fire, but it's almost just white searing light rather than fire. White searing light directly to the guy's face.
All right, yeah. Make an attack.
14 plus 6 is a dirty 20.
That'll hit.
And 9 points of damage. Fucking destroying today.
You blast, you pull your hand back, and there is just a skull's face that's looking back at you. All the meat from here forward is just gone, incinerated in your white light, and he collapses back with exactly 9 hit points.
And then I just slowly pan down to the guy in front of me.
Okay. Which brings us to Avarice.
Okay. At this point, he is going to. Everyone is within melee range of someone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Except the kobold.
Okay, but I'm still in between the kobold and
Yeah.
basically everyone. Okay.
Yep.
Then he's gonna basically just stay where he's at. Whichever one looks the healthiest, he is going to again pull out his hand. A small tube appears, but instead of hooking up something this time, you see from underneath his armor a blue light start to expand, and it pushes down his arm and out the tube and fires at whichever one appears to be the most healthy.
The leader has the most hit points.
Whoever appears to be the most healthy.
Who does our cardio?
Who has taken the least amount of hits, I guess, or whoever looks least battered. So whichever you decide.
The leader, yeah.
Okay. That is going to be +6. Yes. So that'll be 19.
To hit.
Yep,
that hits.
Okay, and he takes 9 points of lightning damage.
It hits him in the shoulder. He's got like a metal shoulder armor piece there, and it begins to crackle and like burn against his skin.
He looks over to his companion. Follow up. And immediately the dog's mouth opens again. Small tube.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, well, it might. Oh my god. I need to pull his thing up in another tab. What does it hit? I apologize. +4 to hit. So 17.
Hits.
Hits? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. And he takes an additional 5 points to damage.
All right. He's looking pretty hurt. Anything else for your turn? You can just have movement. You use action, bonus action.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there, and my companion will move as he sees fit, if at all. So from there.
The kobold in front of you picks up the shaking wand with different runes that are all lit up around it, and is going to unload a charge at you, Avarice. Is not going to hit on the first one. He's going to hit it a second time, which is a 17, which I believe misses you as well, right?
Does not hit.
Both those are out. Sai, you've got a bandit behind you, the leader in front of you, and the kobold over by Avarice.
So just for a little flair, he has not dodged at all this whole time. It's just ricocheting off of him.
Ding.
And
he's there's no longer the bandit behind you because you like backflipped over him to get away, right? That was.
Yeah, I was next to the leader, and so I like just hopped out. So wherever the bandit was.
Yep, he's now in front of you a few feet. But.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll go up to the bandit and just try to use my fists and, out of anger, punch him in the face.
Okay, go ahead and roll an attack.
That would be 18.
Hits.
Woo! Finally. And that's 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. You just angry, disregarding your weapons. You just punch him in the face, and his head just turns a little bit too far around. And as he falls back, his leg like kicks a little bit, and he is dead. Rest of your turn.
And then I will. How far from the leader am I right now? Like
10 feet. You just jumped the 10 feet away.
I'm gonna slow walk up to the leader and take patient defense for my bonus action.
Gel.
So I'm sorry. I was just upset that I'm not able to do things. I am going. Angel is going to, having the leader have pulled away from her grapple. She's just done with it, and she's gonna swing her flail back around and try and knock him through the noggin.
Roll.
Knock, knock, noggin. On Sparrow's door.
That'll be a dirty 20.
That'll hit.
Okay.
Wow.
9 damage.
An 8 on the die +1.
All
That
right.
was good.
He is still standing. He's hurt. Anything else you got?
And then she is going to tell him, call them off or I will end you.
Peep a little bit. Looks around. It's not his turn yet. You don't know what he's going to do. Yoshida.
I hear her say that, and I don't think he's gonna like do it. So I go ahead and I'm just gonna keep doing my playbook, leaning out, crossbow bolt at the leader or who that Angel's engaged with, and let me roll for that. Okay, so it's a d20 plus 5, 10 plus the d4 for bless. 13.
13 misses. So that's Angel. Call them off. And he looks at Angel and then looks over your shoulder and just kind of ducks his head to the side as a crossbow bolt flies by. Anything else for you, Yoshida?
Yes, I am going to hit Angel with a healing word. And that'll be 8.
Appreciation.
And I'm gonna hide again.
For the captain's turn, he looks around and sees that the only one of his companions still standing is the kobold. Hey. Can tell when I'm beat. Drops his sword and dagger on the ground. What now? It's Doman's turn.
Is the kobold throwing up his hands yet?
It's not the kobold's turn yet. He is not.
The flaming sphere rushes 30 feet and slams into the kobold.
There's a 13 on his saving throw. Is it dexterity?
Dexterity, 14.
13. Yeah, 13. He's +2.
3 points.
It's a damage. He collapses to the ground in a smoldering heap.
There's a lot of charred corpses around. And for my action, I will gesture as if I'm cross-drawing a gun, and my fingers will light up, and I'm going to prepare an Eldritch Blast to cast if everybody else engages with the captain here.
Okay. Sai?
I'm gonna.
Oh, sorry, Avarice.
I was like, I didn't think it was my turn, but
I'll go.
you're muted.
I can't hear
Yep, that was the thing. He is going to tell 5P4RK to move into intimidation mode.
Bark. Grr. Grr.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And he is going to walk up behind the captain and take his hands, place them behind his back, and then is going to attempt to restrain him for the time being. Grapple.
Okay, go ahead and do that. That's he is not going. You don't have to roll. He's not going to resist. allows himself to be grappled.
Okay. And I'm going to gesture to the group. What would you like done?
Sorry, I was distracted. What was that?
What are we doing with the dude?
Yeah. We can leave initiative. Y'all can just.
We can turn him into the guards, if you would like.
No, we are going to talk to him first.
The idea of you turning me into the guards. I'll take that. I said, I like the idea of you turning me into the guards.
Ooh.
Couple days, free food. No problem.
And I like the idea of you telling me a little more about these little lost boys of yours.
Hoo-hoo. I cast a zone of truth on him.
Okay. Zone of truth, I think, affects everybody.
Okay, well, everybody in the 60 feet.
He does absolutely fail. It's a wisdom saving throw?
Let me read my instructions. Deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a center point of your choice within range.
A charisma saving throw of 14. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can choose to fail the saving throw.
Each Averin chooses to fail.
I rolled 14.
Solomon 16.
Let's see.
Succeed.
What was it again?
16.
16.
Charisma.
I failed.
It was charisma 14.
I got 13, so.
Okay. And Doman?
I succeeded.
Okay.
Do I need to, or do I?
No, it's your spell. You don't have to.
So I'm like,
Really understand what it is you want to know about. The Lost Sons is the name, not Lost Boys.
It sounds like you are just a bunch of little lost boys to me. So you're going to tell me everything that you know and how I can get all of you to stop coming at me.
King, because you had a fucked it asshole go. Hey, you killed one of my men.
Your men tried to take my my things. Maybe they should pick better targets next time.
One of them won't have that lesson to learn. The other one seems like he's fucked off. So, business is business. We've got to make a living. I don't enjoy the work we do. It's got to be done. Spits on the ground. Fucking kill me or send me home.
Speaking of fucking off, I guess the real question here is if you've learned your lesson or if you're coming back with more goons tomorrow.
Coming back. That's... We can't say the rest of the sons.
You say
Yeah,
he's not
speak
coming
for
back
him.
or he is coming back?
He said he's not coming back because I won't be coming back. I just can't speak for the rest of the sons.
who's your superior?
Just doesn't answer.
I think you need to reset your voice box.
I got it, and
He goes
drop
to
him in
try
the
to
neck.
say something and just like he can't. He like goes to say something to you and it just doesn't come out.
Oh
What did you
yes,
do,
you can't
Dylan?
lie here.
I go reset his voice box, so I go up and I just like give him a quick judo chop in the neck, just to give him
Okay.
some enticement to speak up.
Yeah, go ahead and roll intimidation.
Really better than my last attempt. It's not bad. 16 total.
If I tell you anyone's name, I'm fucking dead. And he
If you don't tell us
reaches-
anyone's
he-
name.
He reaches up and like pulls down, and you see a little tattoo on his collarbone. You can make an Arcana check if you'd like.
Would like.
Can I help him?
Wow, I'm doing great. 16 plus 2 is 18.
16 plus 2. It looks like a glyph, some sort of glyph, very similar to like a glyph of warding, a higher level spell. You don't know exactly what it will do or what the trigger is, but his answer saying they'll kill me if I say anyone's names. Unless you've got a way to dispel this, I can't give you names.
Does anyone? I'll look around at the group.
Will be on my understanding.
I can't do anything right now.
Me and my boys will leave you alone with the fucking one of. You've taken. There's no more fucking boys for me to come after you with. I did not.
Yes.
I plan on getting the fuck out of Avarice after this.
That is not.
We didn't pass on who it was we were dealing with, who you are. There's odds are you won't run into any more trouble as a result of this. But just look, this one will tell you, and he nods over a sigh. If you're just taking a cart that close to the slums, someone's going to try to shake you down for it. How much did they even try to get out of you?
Enough.
Too much. I'll tell you what. You do go ahead and bugger off, as you say. We never see you again. But if we hear any more from these lost sons, it'll be your ass.
But no say there. I'm just going to hope you never see me again. Can you get the dog, this thing, whatever the fuck this thing is, let me go.
Look at Abby.
Just staring into the abyss, like just holding.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It is all right. You may let him go now.
Bark. Grr.
Passive mode.
Very much like this little thing.
So his hands fold back out, wings go in, lands back onto the floor.
Bark.
Right. Fuck off then.
Wait, I'm gonna search him.
Right.
Just patting him down.
Yeah.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Okay.
Can I help where I'm close?
Little thing.
So his hands fold back out, wings go in, lands back onto the floor.
Bark.
Right. Fuck off then.
Wait, I'm gonna search him.
Right.
Just patting him down.
Yeah.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Okay.
Can I help where I'm close?
Little thing.
So his hands fold back out, wings go in, lands back onto the floor.
Bark.
Right. Fuck off then.
Wait, I'm gonna search him.
A coin pouch, which has a little bit of heft to it. You've already signed my death sentence. You've killed my men, and I've got to go on the lam. There's not much there. If you let me keep that, these guys have probably got a decent sum in all their pockets, and they're not going to be using it. I ain't got much dignity with half my teeth. If I could at least walk out of here with a little bit of my own money.
Okay, I take half.
Okay.
Leave him the dagger and the sword. He is leaving, and into the west he will need it.
Fix him up, I suppose. Thank you. You got 12 gold about, and then 3 silver. It was about half.
And then I'm like, but I do have this for you, and I just like reach into my bag and I hand him an egg. from Lady Featherweight.
Thank you.
No problem.
May I go?
Voice grows strong.
Do you mind if I get out of here?
Before he does, I will walk up to him and I will drop 10 gold on the ground in front of him. You get a lot more answers with honey than with vinegar.
Fair enough.
Fuck off.
He reaches down and picks up the gold, drops it in his coin purse, and just off into the night.
As soon as he bounces out, Angel's gonna turn to Domin and go, "You old softy."
Nobody's ever
searching
taught him
for-
nothing. It's how's he gonna learn? And Dom will duck back inside, trying to go immediately back to bed, see that his bed has been shit on by a chicken, and then lay in Yosta's bed.
That's fair.
This entire time, the conversation's been going on. Sai's been kind of absent from the conversation. I wanted to see if I can, because I've been thinking. I think this is what's kind of been throwing my hits off, is that I've been thinking about how I know Damin and Angel already, and I'm trying to see if I know Yosta or Avrin as well.
Yeah, now that you're focusing on it, like, yeah. Although, yeah, no, you recognize all four of these folks.
And I'll just
I'm
kind of
just
be
searching.
absent from the conversation and not really realize that they're all heading back into the shop.
As you all head back into the shop, Sai, you're thinking about this strange connection, all these conveniences and inconveniences that have brought you all together. Go to rest in the shadow of the great spire of Avarice, a city of which only a fraction you've seen. We're going to call it there. I'm so excited to be back. I hope you all had fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully I still have the computer.
Yeah, we'll get you figured out. I've got an extra power supply if you need one. Thanks, David. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next week on Easy Dispell.
Like what?